Welcome to this video where we will show how to complete Ex4-TourData. So here we have a list of bookings, and for each booking we know the tour code, but we need to fill in the trip description, departure date, and the base cost of the trip based on the tour code. Now we actually have a worksheet called Lookup Tables, and if you switch to that worksheet, you'll see that we actually have a table here where we can search for the tour code in the first column of the table and then get the tour description from the second column, the departure date from the third column, and the base cost from the fourth column. So the way that our data is structured means that we can use this function called VLOOKUP to search for the trip description, departure date, and base cost of trip based on tour code as our lookup value, and based on this table as our lookup table. And again, let's make a note of the range that contains our lookup table. On the upper left hand corner, our cell is D2, and on the lower right hand corner, the cell is G9. So just keep that in mind because that will be the range of our lookup table. D2 colon G9. So let's get started. So I go to trip description and I type equal, and the function that I need is called VLOOKUP, V for vertical, because we search for our lookup value on the first column vertically on the table. So VLOOKUP accepts 4 arguments. The first argument is the value that we're searching for in the first column of our table array. We already know that we're searching for the tour code in the first column of this table. So I just use my mouse to click over and select this range. So that will be the sheet reference, lookup tables, D2 colon G9. If we find a match on the value that we're searching for here in the first column, we want the tour description to be given to us. And the tour description is in column number 2. So that will be our third argument. And the last argument is going to be false, exact match. What that means is we are looking for a value in the first column that matches our lookup value exactly. So if we're looking for code 20, we're looking for exactly 20. If we're looking for 50, we're looking for exactly 50. So we need an exact match, and therefore we choose false. False means exact match. Now that we've completed our function, we press enter to go back to our original location, and you will see that the answer has been located for us. And we need to make D2 and G9 an absolute reference. And now we can just simply copy this to the rest of the rows. I will leave you to do that yourself. I'll show you quickly how to do the departure date. It's very similar to how we get trip description, except we get our value from the third column of the table. We want departure date, so that will be from column 3. And again, we want an exact match. So we find that the departure date of tour code 20, check out the Czech Republic, is on June 4, 2018. And up here, I just want to make sure I change this to an absolute reference before I copy. And the base cost of the trip, again, very similar. We need a VLOOKUP. Base cost is in column number 4 of the table. Exact match. Press enter. And we have the base cost as 3,299. So now that we have filled in all our formulas and we have converted the necessary references to absolute, we can just copy these 3 all the way down, and we have quickly filled in our trip description and departure date. And we will be completing the total cost with taxes and fees and the net amount. So for this total cost with taxes and fees, we have the base cost, but we need to add 10% tax and 1.5% service charge. So the formula for that will be equal total cost plus total cost multiplied by the tax rate plus total cost multiplied by the service fee. So this is one way to write the equation, and the answer is 3,678 and 39. So this is one way to write the equation, but it's a bit awkward. I'm going to rewrite it so that I factor out F13. So now it's going to look like factoring out F13. So this is equivalent to that previous formula, plus it's easier to read and shorter, and it gives us the same answer. Before we copy this formula, remember to make B5 and B6 an absolute reference so that even if we were to drag it down, we will always refer to these locations. And finally, we have the net amount. The net amount would be the total cost with taxes and fees minus any discounts that the user is entitled to. So for the first booking, we take this total cost minus the discount amount. So this customer pays a net amount of 3,478 and 39. And there's no need to make any of these references absolute. They need to stay relative. So I just simply drag it down. I can format this so we have alternate colors. And up here we have some statistics that we need to fill in. So total net amount for all trips. We use the sum function and we simply sum this range. And average. The lowest. Lowest amount paid. And the highest. So we have completed exercise 4 TourData using VLOOKUP. And we've also used some of our standard functions as well.